This is a story about the axe murders. On the night of June 9th, 1912, the Moore family, Josiah and Sarah, along with their 4 children, were sleeping in their home in Villisca, Iowa. 2 young friends who had come for a sleepover, 8-year-old Lena Strunk and 7-year-old Ina Komisarum, were there as well. Sometime after midnight, someone entered the house. They used Josiah's own axe to bludgeon everyone inside. 8 people total were killed, 6 children and 2 adults. But here's the horrifying part. The killer covered every mirror and window with cloth, as if to hide the house from the outside world. All the bodies were carefully covered with blankets. A plate of uneaten food and a bowl of bloody water were left on the table. Neighbors said the house stayed eerily quiet all morning, until finally someone went inside. When the sheriff arrived, he found a grisly scene. The 8 victims were lined up in the living room, each with a cloth covering their head except for Josiah. He was slumped over his armchair, his axe still clutched in his hand. An investigation revealed that everyone had been hit on the head multiple times. Some victims had defensive wounds, meaning they had tried to fight back. But it was clear that whoever had done this had not acted alone. It was also clear that whoever had done this knew their way around the house, but they didn't live there. Forensics would later find footprints from a man and a woman, neither of which matched any of the family members. In the days following the murders, people began to speculate. Was it traveling carnivals, or perhaps traveling salesmen? Maybe it was a deranged doctor who had come to harvest brains for his research. Anything was possible. Years passed, and leads went cold. Then in 1913, a man named George Kincaid confessed to the crime. Kinda. See, George was an inmate at the Iowa State Penitentiary serving time for a different crime when he wrote a letter to the editor of the Des Moines Register. In it, he described how he and his brother-in-law had committed the murders in self-defense after being invited into the house by the family for a late-night beer. George said that Josiah had become violent after drinking too much and attacked his brother-in-law. That's when they both panicked and killed him. Then they did the same to everyone else in the house. Afterwards, they fled to Texas. When police interviewed George, he admitted to writing the letter but denied killing anyone. He claimed that he was at a bar in Texas when the murders occurred. But the story didn't end there. Several months later, a man named Levi Fraze came forward claiming that he was the actual killer. Like George, he too had been in prison for another crime when he heard about the Moores murders. He began having visions, or so he said, and felt compelled to confess. He told police that he had been hired by a John Doe to kill the family, but refused to say who that was or why the family had been chosen. He also offered to take them to the supposed murder weapon, which they found buried in a nearby river. It was a lead pipe, no axe. So was it George, was it Levi, or was it both of them? To this day, we don't know. Both men confessed, then recanted their stories. They died in prison without ever revealing the truth. Over the years, dozens more suspects were investigated, but no one was ever charged. The case remains unsolved. If you visit the Moore house today, which is now a museum, you can see the original furniture, including the infamous axe. You can also see the tools used by investigators and read through years of research done by private investigators and amateur sleuths. And that's the end of this story. Bye for now.